everybody. This is the recruiTECH podcast, and this is the beginning of the recruiTECH event in the 21st March, and we are so excited. We will have a good conversation about recruitment, and I hope you will all enjoy. Please, for the very first time, this is something that professional conversation for the professional people who are in the recruitment. So we are always looking for your feedbacks in comments on YouTube or listen to our Spotify or Apple Podcast. And you're more than welcome if you share your experience and your question. Please let me welcome our kind guest, Karin Philippczyk from the Hiring Success Services. Karin is the program manager of Hiring Success. But first of all, let me introduce myself as the local person from Hungary. My name is Gabi Sarkadi, and I am almost 20 years in the market and working as a recruitment professional. Well, I was working on the corporate side. I was working on the service side in my past almost 20 years. And I really enjoy the recruitment consultancy these days. And I am participating here and representing the DTC solution team as a senior talent acquisition consultant. And I really love my job and love recruitment. That's why I'm here. And I hope that I can do my best with this conversation. Today we will talk about, not a surprise, about recruitment trends globally and something locally, and about methodology, which can be interesting for you and for everyone. I definitely know that Karin is sharing some new metrics, strategy for recruitment professionals. And I think that this is the most important. And let's jump into the middle of this conversation. I hope you will enjoy. And welcome here, Karin.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be at recruiTECH. It's the first time I'm here.
Oh, okay.
So it's definitely great to see the city, but also the event for the first time. Thank you for having me.
Super. I'm very happy to see you here. And maybe there are some background information about us that this is not the first time for us that we meet, because to meeting in person, this is the first time for us. And we are super happy to see each other. But we are working together since last year, as I'm very proud that I'm also a certified consultant of hiring success methodology, and we at DTC are certified partners of SmartRecruiters as CE implementation partners, and I learned a lot. This is when I see you and I'm thinking of you, that when I started to learn about the methodology. I have seen a video with you and some other colleagues from the Smart team, and I had the feeling that I'm seeing something new, learned a lot. But first of all, because before we jump into the middle of the methodology itself, let's see what do you see globally? What kind of recruitment trends do you see in the world? And previously, I'm happy to hear your introduction yourself, because if someone haven't met you before in person or in videos on LinkedIn, feel free to connect later, Karin. What should about you?
Oh gosh, a lot. No, I'm just kidding. So basically, I've been in the TA and recruiting space for a decade now.
Wow.
I started up I feel like most people who end up in recruiting. So I started working for an agency, high volume hiring, just running the numbers. And we actually started up, with the phone book. You went through numbers, you tried to find the names and call the people and call the office and say, oh, you're IT support, I need to speak to this person. So this is how I started up. I worked pretty much global. So I worked in the European regions, in France, Switzerland, Austria. We had a couple of projects in Denmark. And then I moved on to one of the big fours, where I worked in moving teams. So basically 15 to 50 people that we moved at the same time. And then in my previous role, I was head of recruitment. And I implemented the SmartRecruiters platform.
I see.
And after having worked with SmartRecruiters for 2.5 years as a customer, I was like, okay, this is great, but I think I'm done seeing recruitment from that side. So I switched over, and I've been now with SmartRecruiters for 2 years. I started up with doing implementation for our customers.
Yeah.
But I'm now hiring success program manager. That means I run the strategic department in our company that has to do with hiring success. So, and I'm super happy about this. So we basically certify our partners to also become hiring success consultants, and to not just implement, but implement, I like to say, implement with a brain and with a strategy instead of just dumping the technology. And that's how I ended up here.
Wonderful. I think SmartRecruiters is lucky with you, because you are always super positive and super helpful, and honestly, I'm very happy that I had the chance still have the chance to learn from you. So we are sitting now in Hungary. And since last year, this is hard. We have hard years, not just months, in recruitment, and companies are struggling with different things like a low recruitment budget. A lot of companies have to send people to the streets because they had to cut the costs, lost projects, and there are a lot of people in the market looking for a new job. What do you see globally? Because your responsibility and your job is very global. You see a lot of companies worldwide. What is your experience? Is it something that happens in Europe or happening all continents? And what are the biggest troubles at the companies at this moment?
So I see two different sides. So we have, the countries that have a lot of problems because they don't have enough employees. They can't find enough candidates. So this is what we usually see, European Union, in Northern America. And those problems, obviously, there's like the external problems. There's like socioeconomic, recession, etc. But then I also see within those countries self-made problems. We knew the times are going to get tougher. And what companies did is actually they cut budget and they fired recruitment. Yeah. And now they're surprised that it's kind of hard to get back into this recruitment culture to deliver a great candidate experience. But that's a self-made problem. Yeah. In other countries, I would say more in like the Eastern European regions, we see that a lot of companies have trouble retaining talent because obviously the salaries are a lot higher, for example, in France, in Switzerland, and Austria. So people are moving that way because they're required there. So I think they're really two sides of those problems. I do believe that a lot of problems are being self-made by companies. They lack maturity in terms of recruitment. We know, for example, that we need to deliver a good candidate experience. Yeah. What happens? 49% of companies, they in 5 out of 10 times, they don't even respond to their candidates within the first 2 months of them applying. So this is being self-made. This is a self-made problem. So, and we see this in a lot of places. So the not responding, the ghosting, that is a global problem that we definitely see in a tremendous amount of companies.
Yeah, last week I had a presentation for university students, and when, I am with a big heart with recruitment, so this is my life, this is my profession, and I asked them, they're in the 1 or 2nd grades, 1st or 2nd grade, so this is somewhere in the beginning of the studies. But I asked them, is there anybody who doesn't really want to be a recruiter at all? So they are in the HR studies, and at least 6 or 7 young potential HR professionals hold their hands and told me that, okay, I don't want to be, and asked them why. And imagine that the reason is the bad candidate experience, because in the early stage of the studies, they are trying to get some internship and do some job. So they have experience in the early 20s to apply to jobs and don't receive any feedbacks, don't receive any applications. And I was just standing up there and asked Gabi, why we are not receiving? And I tried to explain somehow what is the reason, because the recruiters have so much to do. Maybe the systems are not appropriate to send out automated messages. So I have the feeling in the past years that we always try to explain why recruiters are not sending out messages, but nothing really happens. Do you also have the feeling that this is not a new thing in recruitment globally, but it happens for a while? And what could be the reason? What do you think why recruiters are not responding to applicants? And this is, of course, causes a bad candidate experience, definitely.
Yeah. So again, I think it's not one single problem.
Yeah.
I think this is it's a self-made problem. We have the means to use technology to automate. So if we are in high volume hiring, for example, there's no excuse to not, send an automatic reply or to, bulk reject candidates because they don't fit a certain qualification, for example. So let's just say we need, workers that can work on the weekends. So if already in the pre-screening questions they say, I cannot work on the weekends, well, then you can send an automated reply to them.
Yes.
It's not difficult.
Yeah.
At the same time, I also think the expectations are rising a lot. Yeah. So we see there was a really great study done by Chronify that said that 49% of candidates left the recruiting process because it took too long.
Oh, yeah, it's a problem as well.
Exactly. What is too long? They're saying they're expecting after the application within 4 to 6 days, to 6 days, the first interview scheduled. Not a reply, the interview scheduled.
Yes.
It's even harder in IT. So I was doing, in my last company, I was doing niche recruitment for Microsoft security people. They're not a lot, so you want to be quick. In IT, it's even worse. Not worse, but 14% of IT candidates expect an interview to be scheduled within 2 days. If not, they don't think highly of the process. 2 days.
Yeah.
Imagine that most companies don't even reply in 2 days.
Yes.
So just to summarize, I do think that companies should invest more in automation and AI to, not get rid of a lot of people, but to filter better, to make better choices, and then have more human touch points.
Yes.
At the same time, candidate experience is rising. When you're on Amazon, you don't want to click on a product and then not get the answer if the product is available or not. You want to order the product, it's coming the next day. Yeah. It's getting faster and faster. And we see that in recruiting. It has to be faster to really, cater to the needs of the candidates because they're not applying to one company. They're applying to hundreds.
Exactly. We should be quick and somehow the best and fastest. Yes, it's a kind of educational question in the market and not just in Hungary, but globally.
Exactly.
Something else in my mind that due to the technology, due to the market changes globally, locally, the recruitment function has definitely changed in the decades.
Yes.
So when I had my first experience in 2006, we just been working in Excel, no ATSs at all, and it was completely changed. We just advertised a job. Maybe an IT job, imagine. Although in 2024, there are applicants in IT in Hungary. But previously, no one has applied. So if you just wanted to hire a senior Java developer, you had to hunt them that you mentioned. Yeah. But the mindset of the recruiters had to change somehow. And just when we have conversation with recruiters, we have the feeling that it's more a sales and marketing function now than ever before. Do you agree with that? And do you have any comments, any experience with this? maybe yourself, how your job has changed, and of course you have a couple of partners as recruiters. And do you educate them, or it's not needed? It's an issue in Hungary for sure.
Absolutely, and I agree 100%. The job as a recruiter is not recruiting anymore.
Yeah.
It became a lot more versatile. As you said, it's a sales function. We have to go out and hunt new accounts, new business, which is our candidates. They're not just applying anymore. They want to be, garnered. They want to be, just like wooed with how amazing the company is. There, obviously, we have to be careful to not oversell, because we see this also in product. If sales is promising too much, we cannot deliver on the product. Well, that's not a good customer experience. Same for the job. If you oversell the job to a candidate, they're probably not going to stick around for a long time. Yeah. At the same time, there's HR marketing. How do we market our positions? Where we have budget responsibility in recruiting. We also have to be, we also have to know the law. There are a lot more questions about the contracts, non-compete, the bonus. We have to be negotiators as recruiters. When I first started my role in recruiting, it was literally HR interview. Okay, I screened that candidate. Let's move on to the hiring manager. Yes. Now it's the full range. We have the 360 recruitment, which really it starts from the beginning. It goes up to like the onboarding process.
Yeah.
And this is also where, just going back to the ghosting piece, this is also where the problem comes in, because we have one role. If you look at the job description, so the recruiters amongst you, look at your job description and tell me you're not doing like 50, 60% more of what is on your job description, doing marketing, sales, negotiating, onboarding, you listen to their problems, it's a lot wider than just recruitment.
Exactly.
And I feel like recruitment is shifting more to a talent advisor. So we're advising. We want to be the trusted partner to the hiring managers. We don't just want to, tell them, yes, they fit the salary description and they're motivated.
Yeah.
It just doesn't cut it anymore.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this is what I try to spread this word to university students, to experienced recruitment professional, that I truly believe myself as well that this trusted advisor role is what we have to express to the business, because we are not just an administrative function as recruiters. Exactly. We are just not someone who have to take the task and do and deliver, but we have to be advisors. And I have some. It's always a challenge, I guess, and I don't know what is your experience. Do you think if in 2024, just in general, seeing globally, do recruiters are well prepared for this role? So it is requiring maybe a stamina. It requires just, watching maybe an e-learning video, or what do you think? What makes a recruiter a good recruiter? Mm-hmm. Where did we gain this knowledge to be a trusted advisor? I'm very curious of that. So your opinion.
Companies don't invest enough in recruitment. I kid you not. In the decade I've worked as a recruiter, I've never gotten training on how to be a recruiter. Okay. I've never gotten interview training, psychological training, negotiation training. I was fighting tooth and nail to get a training on labor laws and negotiation, because this is something where you can go really, really wrong, and it has, legal implications. So this was what I thought was important. Yes, but I do believe we have to invest more in recruitment. But if you're passionate about your job, then I feel like you can self-educate a lot. There are many great videos out there just about people, how they interview on YouTube. So much of the knowledge is for free. Nowadays, I always laugh when I see a company saying they're looking for a recruiter with at least a bachelor or a master's degree in, business or sociology, because I don't think it's necessary. You need a passion for people.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if you have a bachelor. If you don't have passion to talk to people and you think it's fun and exciting, and then you're not cut out for the job. You should not have that role. So I don't believe but this is a different story. I'm really a fan of hiring for skills, not for educational purpose, or for your, for where you went to university. The whole different story. I'm going down a red hole here, but I do believe that recruiters, to be good at their job, they really need to care, because ultimately we are responsible for that person's life. And
exactly.
I think it's so crazy when recruiters, they're just kind of treating it like, oh, I rejected just like 20, 30 candidates.
Yeah.
I do believe you need to care more, because it's not just something we rejected. It is a person.
Exactly.
And if we hire a person, we alter that person's life. In a lot of cases, when companies are recruiting from abroad, that person is coming to a new country, learning a new language, leaving their family just to find work. Yeah. So in overselling and in overpromising, I think we really hurt those people. Exactly. So to be a good recruiter, I mean, my baseline is you need to be passionate and you need to care.
Yes, this responsibility is so high, and this is something that we have to feel. And my something else that I always tell to my conversation partners, that I truly believe that all the participants of a hiring process are equal, including, and this is important to think, the candidate. So he's also, when I am a recruiter, when I'm in a hiring process, it doesn't matter if I'm a recruitment manager or hiring manager or recruitment coordinator, I do believe that the candidate is also my partner, and I have to take care of him, her, do my best, not just for my managers, for my teammates in the recruitment, but to do the best also with the candidate, and to give. Okay, sometimes it requires, and we should invest more time. And maybe this can be a crucial point when there is a mass recruitment activity in a recruitment team, and sometimes we say that, okay, we don't really have time to deal with people one by one, to take care of them, but we should somehow be on this track and to take care as much as possible.
And companies do it. We have one customer, actually, they're not in high volume, but they are actually writing every single rejected candidate, why they rejected them, with not so much the rejection reasons, but the feedback, how to improve and to reapply maybe for this position, that position. It takes them a lot of time. It does, and they're admitting to it. They're saying, yes, it slows us down, but it's so much more valuable to give feedback for them to improve, and they're getting so many good replies from those candidates. So companies can do it. Like there's no excuse for not doing it. Yeah,
the feedback culture is another question that we can talk about this at least 30 minutes, I guess, or 1 hour. But just looking on my watch, you are the expert of the hiring success methodology, and this is the main topic for today, although I have the feeling that we can sit here all day and talk about recruitment, especially the recruitment professionals and consultants. And I don't want to speak more about this because you are the expert. What is hiring success methodology? If someone is looking here and coming here to recruiTECH or watching this YouTube video or listening to the podcast, this is something. When I was learning about the methodology, it was something new, something fresh, something innovative, and very interesting to see some new metrics, because the data, metrics, analytics it's an important part of recruitment in 2024, but we should take care of what we count, how we count, what we measure, what is the analytics, and what is this methodology, what we can learn from this methodology in our everyday practices as recruiters.
So just to give a rough overview, there are different change management and transformation models. There's the EDCAR model. There's the McKinsey 7S model. And then SmartRecruiters has the hiring success methodology. So it is a change and transformation methodology that our whole company is practicing. And the foundation of it is that whenever we drive a change management project, or any project, so even just the SmartRecruiters implementation of the ATS with our customers, you know, we say that we need to look at the technology, the people, and the process.
Yeah.
Because just changing one of those things is not going to improve our recruitment function. So let's say we have a customer and they bought a new technology, they bought SmartRecruiters, they're implementing it. They have stakeholders around it that, for example, are working on the recruitment process. And then they have a 10-step interview process.
Yeah.
If we keep that 10-step interview process, it's not going to get better.
Yes.
Even though you have a new technology, 10 interviews is not optimal. We know from research 4 interviews is the most that we should have with candidates, not more. So we go into a customer's, you know, configuration, implementation, and we're saying, okay, let's look at the technology, let's implement it. 2 processes that are based on research, that are based on good candidate practice. And then let's look at this people part. So who's coming in when? Who's the stakeholder? Who do we need to speak to make this process happen? Same thing for if it's a transformation project. If, for example, we want to optimize, you know, how we structure interviews.
Yeah.
Again, we look at the technology that we have available, the people, and the process. And whatever we do, we want to have a positive impact on the recruiters, the hiring managers, and or the candidates. If a transformation piece has a negative impact on one of these 3, recruiter, hiring manager, or candidates, we don't do it. We don't recommend it. We even challenge our customers in conversations. And I cannot tell you how many times I challenge a customer. I'm like, this is the research. This is why we should not do it. And I think nothing speaks against numbers. I'm a big numbers person. So I love to come with research and, you know, tell them this is the way forward. But this is the basis of the methodology. We always look at people, process, technology.
Yes.
If those 3 are aligned, we will achieve hiring success. And for us, hiring success is defined as attracting, selecting, and retaining the right people, so quality people, at the right time with the right budget. And now we're walking into the metrics already.
Fine, so let's go.
Who's the right person? Different companies, they measure quality and candidate fit differently. I'm sure you have seen, you know, different ways of quality checks. There's a year-end review. There's, you know, the monthly feedback. There's, you know, everything. Yeah. But how do we bring it up to one metric that we can actually see if it improves or not? Yeah. So here we have, and I know you know all this, Gabi, because you went through the hiring success course. But for the quality, we have the net hiring score. Yes. And the net hiring score is actually a survey. So we hire a new candidate, and 90 days after this candidate was hired, we send out a survey to them and to the hiring manager. This is important. Yes. We have a 2-way feedback. And we asked the candidate, not the candidate anymore, but the new employee, how much of a fit are you for this role? They can rate it from 1 to 10. And when we see that the score is really low, we know, okay, something happened in the interview process. Why is the score low? Is it because we oversold the role? Is it because the candidate misrepresented themselves? Why do you not like this position? Why don't you think you're a fit? At the same time, you also get the score from the hiring manager that we're asking, how much of a fit is this candidate? Again, we look at the score. If the score is really high, we're like, okay, great, good hire, let's go. If the score is low, we can, you know, interject and be like, okay, why? And this ultimately, if we all put it together, it gives us a net hiring score. Yeah. And we obviously want to see that grow and see how much of a fit a candidate is. Yeah. So this is the first time. Yeah. Yeah. The other metric, so when I say hiring candidates right on time. Yes. Most companies think, okay, it's how many days did it take us to hire a candidate? So Now just imagine, let's do a quick role play. If I'm the recruiter and I'm telling you, Gabi, it took me 20 days to hire a marketing person, what would you say?
20 days, marketing person, for experienced marketing person from start to hire, it's a good one.
Okay. Now, when I say it took me 100 days.
Okay, it's too much.
When I say it took me 100 days to hire a new vice president of marketing?
Oh, it's okay. It's
okay.
It's a different question because maybe it's much harder to find this person, but this should be somehow shorter period, ideally.
Okay. And why do you think it's good or it's bad in terms of days?
Well, it depends what is the requirement, because maybe it's not set up. What is where this person should enter the organization and when we should hire them. So there are some, in general, there is an ideal date when we would like to hire that person. Sometimes it's not clear, just we know that we want, but we should define it somehow.
And I like what you said, there's an ideal date.
Yes.
So why don't we turn it around?
Yeah.
Why don't we drop this, it took me so and so many days? Because you're a nice hiring manager, but usually hiring managers would say, why didn't you do it faster? Like, couldn't you go faster? And I love that you just mentioned the ideal date, because this is exactly what we're looking for. When we talk about hiring a candidate at the right time, we speak about hiring velocity. That means what percentage of candidates were hired on an ideal start date.
Yes.
Let me give you an example here. I have a project kicking off 1st of August. And I need 5 people. And I need to know what is the likelihood that we can actually kick off this project with 5 people. And this is exactly what we're calculating with hiring velocity, the percentage of when if we can hire on time. The last one, the budget one, is instead of saying I spend 3,000 euros to hire a marketing person or a VP, again, this is a gut feeling. Is this good? Is this bad? For hiring budget, we actually look at how much did it cost us to hire this person in relation to their salary. So we again have a percentage instead of just a gut feeling number of, it could be a little less in terms of budget.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 metrics that we are using in the hiring success methodology.
Yeah, thank you for the explanation, and that's why I like it. So this is. I think we should change some perspectives in our mind and to learn something new. And I'm happy that I have the knowledge on this topic, and I know that there is a business assessment connected to the hiring success methodology, and okay. I just dropped the ball back to you. So what is the hiring success business assessment? Because this can be something which is coming through the social media, or whatever platforms, and what recruiters should know, or maybe recruitment leaders should know about this.
So we built the hiring success business assessment. This is a survey that we send to literally all our customers before they implement our technology or before we kick off a strategic project. The business assessment, it takes, recruiters or head of TAs. We don't send it to hiring managers, but it takes them 30, 40 minutes to answer. And we ask questions about people, process, and technology. Yeah. So we will ask, for example, who is sourcing in your company? And who is, for example, taking care of your CRM, so of your candidate pool? Then we ask questions about the process. So how are you sourcing? How are you utilizing the CRM? And then the technology question. What technology do you have available? And are you satisfied with it? And we ask questions about, the whole recruiting functions. So also about reporting, integrations, training and enablement. And this whole survey is product agnostic. So companies who don't utilize SmartRecruiters yet, they can even use this survey to review what kind of maturity they have of their recruitment function. We have 4 levels of maturity. First level is, simple and transactional. They're not really integrated with any tools. Maybe there's no training. They're not really satisfied with, the people, process, technology piece altogether. The second level, third level, the fourth level is what we want to achieve. So the fourth level is highly automated and data-driven. And also, we see a lot of satisfaction of companies who reach that fourth level of maturity. But it helps us to get into a conversation with the customers, because we see, for example, that in the first element, which is sourcing and CRM, for example, they have the maturity level 2, which means they're already a little further. They are standardized, but they're not really automated. But we also see that they're not super satisfied with it. And for me, that means, okay, you're level 2, which is fine. Like, everyone starts somewhere. Even if you're level 1, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, if you're dissatisfied with how you screen and how you source, then I want to know the story behind that picture. I want to know, is it because of the people?
Yes.
Is it because of the process or the technology? Or is it all three?
Yes.
And then we can go into, this conversation a little easier, because we have this framework. We ask them, what is going on with the people? And a lot of times, to be really honest, companies tell us that they have not trained their sourcers or their recruiters to actually, bring in this talent. They're basically just giving them, LinkedIn recruiter. They're hoping for them to find the right keywords, and then let's go. So it could be a people problem, but it could also be a process problem.
Absolutely.
That hiring managers are sending in candidates. Candidates are just sending paper resumes. There's no real structure to it. So it's a process problem.
Yeah.
So we tackle that a lot differently than if, for example, it is a technology problem. If there are no means to really source candidates and screen candidates in your technology, then yes, we need to tackle that technology question and optimize it. But this is why we like to utilize that survey, because it gives us a broad overview of the whole recruitment function from A to Z, about people, process, technology, to optimize the experience of candidates, hiring managers, and recruiters.
Yeah, I guess there are a lot of wow moments for customers when completing the survey and understanding that, okay, we know that something is not working very well, but they don't know the roots, and the assessment is absolutely something that if we involve the right person and we don't miss to involve from the sources to the recruitment managers and everyone who is involved in the recruitment, this is something that opens eyes, I'm sure, for probably your customers, and this is also the base of the implementation of the SmartRecruiters ATS, right?
Exactly.
What is how the people who are listening us today can imagine that we completed as a company the business assessment, and we will start an implementation project. There are focus points. The survey helps us to focus in the implementation. So what is the connection between the assessment and the implementation?
That's exactly a good question. So when we look at the survey as a whole, we also want to have a data point to say, okay, now you're at this level of maturity, pre-implementation. Let's take again the survey in a year after go live. Let's see how much you improved. So for the first part, it is a really good data point to see how you evolved after implementation. At the same time, we also like to choose focus areas. So if today your recruitment manager comes to you and is saying, we're launching 21 projects all at the same time, you will be like, no, I'm recruiting, I'm doing HR marketing, I cannot launch 21 projects.
Okay.
And this is why we like to pick focus areas. So we look at, for example, the first pillar. So we have 3 pillars in a talent acquisition function. The first pillar is talent attraction and engagement. This is how we source. Sourcing and CRM, screening. The second pillar is collaboration and selection. How do we go from 100 candidates to the one candidate we want to hire? So it's interviewing. How do we go through the candidates? How do we reject, etc.? The third pillar is management operating model. Are we integrated with other tools? Are we mobile ready on our career sites, etc.? So out of these 3 pillars, per pillar, we choose 3 focus areas that we think make the most improvement when we optimize them. So let's, for example, take the one of the elements of the first pillar, talent attraction engagement. Let's just pick, for example, referral management. Yeah. So referral management, when we look at this in a deeper way, we go to the customer and we're like, okay, we know you're not happy with the technology because you're switching from one technology to SmartRecruiters now. So we have the technology piece fixed. But it will not change your satisfaction level if not only you're changing the technology, but you need to also change the process and what happens around with the people. So when we look at referral management, we also usually look at the process. So what is your process? Are, hiring managers just sending in CVs? Are they, just sending you a person? Or can they click somewhere? Can everyone refer? Is there a referral bonus? What's going on there? And this is how we connect the dots when we implement the platform, because we like to look at the whole process to then configure the system according to the process and according to the people. Because, for example, if in referral management, the first, screening round is done by the sources, then we need to know this so that we configure it to the right, access rights and user rights. We're now getting down into the technicalities, but this is important for us to know, because if sourcers are doing the first screening of referrals, then there needs to be a different process than when, for example, in some companies, hiring managers look at the referrals first, because they're saying, hey, my people who have a lot of knowledge about this role are referring someone they know is going to be a good fit. Yeah. So do we even need this pre-screening? And this is how we connect the dots and basically take, a focus area, dive deeper into it, and really connect the dots to the process and to the people, additionally to the technology. And this is what I think is the beauty. I really rave about the HSBA. I think it's super useful to, even for sales, to get a foot in the door, strike up a conversation of like, we already know a lot about you. We know the big picture. Now we want to know the story behind it. For our customers, it's super valuable because they can track their progress. And it's amazing to see like, a new element like turning green because now they're more satisfied, or they're rising in maturity. So it's definitely I just love looking at the data and the benchmarks of where do companies stand and our customers around the world.
Okay, I although we are almost out of time, but I cannot stop myself to ask you if you had a couple of projects, implementation projects, and probably strategic consultancy projects. When you measure back at your customers that they had they gained the knowledge, you shared your knowledge with the hiring success methodology. They tried to apply it. They dealt with the business assessment maybe after an ATS implementation, and you measure it back. You probably have a lot of success stories. And do you think there are a lot of moments when the customers told you that, wow, it is something that we definitely had to do, and we now on the right track and we understand what to improve?
Absolutely. And I feel like it's also helpful in a recruitment function itself, because we know recruitment fluctuation is high. Yeah. So sometimes, you don't have the same team 1 year later than the team who implemented SmartRecruiters. So for them, having SmartRecruiters is normal. They're, now like they're used to a higher standard. They're like happy. So with that, getting used to a higher standard, they're also getting more critical. Mm-hmm. And even then we can, show them the proof point. Yes, we know you just started here and things are going really well. But a year ago, like it didn't go so well. We did so much improvement. Yeah. So I think those are the best moments, because sometimes we lose ourselves in this kind of like, oh, this is not working. Yes. And don't see back on all the optimization we've done. And it's a huge thing, because at the beginning, circling back, we said recruiters have so much to do. And then at the same time, they're also driving those optimization projects that make candidate experience better. And I think those are, for me personally, those are the best moments to, really pinpoint, okay, hey, your satisfaction level has risen, 30% from last year. That's great to see.
Super. And I'm I'm very proud that I can say myself that that if someone is listening us now and or watching the YouTube video and interested in the topic and would like to go deeper and know something more about the hiring success methodology or implementation or the business assessment, I'm pleased to discuss anyone. So please, who is listening to us and would like to learn more, I promise to share my knowledge in this topic, and feel free to find me on LinkedIn or any channels. So I'm very happy to sit here with you, just because I like to call myself as your colleague in this topic, and somehow since last year I'm also in part of the Smart Recruiters community, and happy to have you here. And just closing this conversation, although this is not enough time for us, I guess, so we will continue next time, Sama. What is your message to the local Hungarian recruiters who would like to improve skills, who would like to do maybe a better job or improve the processes in recruitment? One, not 2 sentences and not more.
Watch the hiring success course on social talent.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's self-study. Be passionate about it. Love the job you're doing, because otherwise you're not in the right profession.
Yeah.
But a lot of self-study and just being interested in what you're doing, because you're changing the people's lives by hiring someone.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed, everybody who was listening our conversation. And if you have any comments, any practices that you would like to share in your everydays, just you find the comment boxes, and please feel free to reach me. And of course, this is the opportunity to reach Karin also on LinkedIn. And thank you very much for listening us. This is the recruiTECH podcast. My guest was Karin Philippczyk from the SmartRecruiters, Hiring Success Services, from the big SmartRecruiters team. And my name is Gabi Sarkadi, representing the DTC solution team here. And please feel free to watch the YouTube video or listening us on Spotify or Apple Podcast. And see you next time. And thank you very much for coming to Hungary, Karin. Enjoy the recruiTECH. Thank you very much. And see you soon. Hope to see you soon again in person. Yes. Thank you. And goodbye for everyone. Thank you.